very gently. See how soft that is? A clean brush. Now we'll begin creating the illusion of mist here. Let it just sort of float around and have fun. There it goes. Wherever you want it. There. And maybe there'll be a little bit in here. I don't know. Wherever you want. Wherever. We can add more mist as we go. Now maybe over here, there's some big rocks. Let's do some big rocks. Get a fan brush. We'll use some Van Dyke brown. A little dark sienna in it. What the heck? A little crimson too. I like crimson. That's a nice color. Load a little in the fan brush. Now we have to make some major decisions. Where does our rocks live here? Maybe. Okay, let's come right in here. Maybe our rock lives right there. This is going to be very difficult to see because it's so dark. All I'm doing is just painting in a basic shape of the rock that's on the other side of the waterfall. That's all I'm trying to do. Just very basic. Then we're going to put the waterfall in front of it. So for that, let's take a little white, a little crimson, a little touch of blue. Just sort of mix them together. We'll just use a fan brush. Now then, go up here, touch, and begin shaping your rock. Just using the old fan brush. Now I'm going to come back with a knife and highlight some of this and then brush it. All I'm doing is just putting in some very basic little shapes right now. Very, very basic. There. See? You can begin separating these rocks and you can almost sculpt them. Now then, we use the knife here, a little touch of the dark sienna, all those nice colors. Get a tiny little roll of paint. I want very little color on this. Very little color. And I'm just going to let it sort of skip and bounce and play. Barely touching the canvas. Almost nothing is happening there. And with a nice clean brush and one hair and some air, just light. Very light. Barely touch it and pull it in the shape of the rock. In other words, if the rock comes this way, you don't want to pull it across. It'll mess up your rock. Nothing worse than a messed up rock. Maybe anywhere you want to put a little bump, so you can just drop it in, give it a little pull, and that easy. That easy. Okay. Now let's get down to the fun part of this. Now today I'm going to dip this 1-inch brush right into some of the liquid clear and take it right into titanium white. Now this will thin the paint and make it smooth and make it flow very, very smooth, very smooth. Okay, let's go right up here. Now, major decision has to be made at this point. Come right up here. You have to make a decision on where your waterfall lives. Maybe right here. Touch, go. Pew. See there? That's all there is to it. Touch. Pew. Okay. Here we go. Pew. If you don't make those little noises, though, it won't work. Touch. Pew. Now maybe in our world, maybe this little stone lives right here. Watch right here. See, if you want to place a little stone here, we just take a little bit of the Van Dyke brown or whatever, dark color. Put a little stone there. We'll come back and very lightly up on top here where the little light would strike, we'll put a little touch of highlight. And now we have a happy little stone that lives out there. And he watches the waterfall, and he has a good time because he can watch all the creatures. There we go. Let's go back up here now. Touch. See? There goes our waterfall again. Touch. Just wherever you want it. Now you could do this with a 2-inch brush if you wanted to. I like to use a little 1-inch brush. It gives you a little more control. There. But notice down in here, I'm not putting a lot of color. I want the color to be up here where the light would strike, and down here it'd be softer. Much softer down in here. Darker. Darker. There. But you see how that liquid clear, boy, it allows that paint just to slide. Just as smooth as glass, and you can just keep. But your shape and form here is most important. Most important. Now we can come back We'll find the old fan brushes. Come right up in here. Maybe up in here lives Big Rock. He comes down, and all we're doing here is just applying some nice dark color so we have something for a rock to live on. Let me get the knife here. I'll pile up a little color. A little bit of crimson, little blue. We'll throw some white into it. There we are. Don't overmix the paint. Leave it sort of marbled, and that way you have a multitude of effects happening automatically. Okay, I'll come up here just like we did before, and now we begin forming this big rock. It lives right in here. Just drop him in. Use a fan brush to put in some very basic little shapes. There. Maybe there's a big ledge. Yep, right there. You're right. You're right. Now then, back to our knife. Take some of these colors and just let them skip and bounce. Just barely touch. Barely. Whisper. Whisper. Quiet. Barely touching. Barely touching. Just want to create a few little highlights here and there. Don't overdo. Leave these rocks quite dark. Now then, with our 2-inch brush, once again, following the angles in the rock, one hair and some air. That's light, isn't it? There we go. And that easy we can create a rock. Big. Now maybe there's a big ledge comes out here. Just let them go. Wherever you think they should live. Just drop them in, one after the other, as many as you want or as few as you want. This might be one of the simplest ways I've ever come up with just to create the illusion of a lot of stones, large stones. Back to our knife. A little bit of, ran out of color there, a little bit of dark sienna, a little yellow ochre, lavender, whatever. And just barely touch again. Whisper, whisper. A little more paint. I think just drop right along. There we go. Okay, a little bit right in here. Let all those little colors just happen. Then back to our 2-inch brush and caress it. Just caress it. There it goes. Now maybe, in our world, maybe, I just had an idea. Maybe we'll get a little sap green. There we go. Let's tap a little bit of color right into the tip of the bristles. Maybe right in here. Maybe there's a little bush lives right here. There he is. Just a happy little bush. He sits right down here. He gets a lot of water because this waterfall, it creates all kind of little misty things. Boy, he's busy down here. There we are. Just going. Okay, let me clean another brush here. I got too many dirty brushes. There we go. Now, back to my large brush with a little white. I'm going to come down here and just tap in a little bit of color. We want to create the illusion of mist. There we go. Now then, knock off all that excess. And we can come back and begin softening. Make it very soft, very quiet. It just sort of blends up here. There's always a lot of mist. When water falls this far, you can bet there's mist. You can just absolutely, without question, you know there's going to be mist in here. It just sort of floats around. Another little layer.